Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Hello and welcome to Where Energy Meets the Divine. I'll be your host for hopefully the next hour. I'm recording this on December 5th, 2025 from the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. And before I start to answer questions, because we have people that call in, you can go to energyintuitive.com, go to the podcast page and leave a message, leave a voicemail. I will get to it. We do get a lot of questions, so it could take me several months before I actually get to your question. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. But before I do that, before I go to the phone lines and begin answering questions, which the questions, when I answer them, they are personal for that individual, but the information could be helpful for anyone. Where you might notice like, oh, that will work for me. That's a great solution. Or, oh, I'm going to try that. So keep that in mind when you're listening to these lovely questions and the answers that come with it. I'm hoping in 2025 that the majority of you that are listening to this learn or practice, get curious about ignoring the overthinking analytical mind. It will go a long way in terms of solving so many of your problems or issues, like learning to communicate with your spirit guides. That happens when you're not listening to your brain. Being able to get direction in a career, in a relationship, with your health. The universe constantly talks to us all the time. And when I say the universe, there's so many different ways the universe can talk to an individual. And this conversation is continuing. It's constant. It's all the time. It's kind of like if you were walking in a forest, the forest is so alive. The trees are talking to the moss. The moss is talking to the birds. There is an orchestra of conversation going on, which most humans have no idea that is actually occurring, but it is. It's always occurring. The older the growth of the forest, the more deep you walk in, the deeper the conversation is. Like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing. Just like when deer all of a sudden stop walking, it's because they know there's a predator coming or a potential threat, and they're gaining some awareness of what direction to go to. And the trees are talking to them, come up over here, go back the way you came, or stand still. It's going to go beside you. It's going to be far away from you if you just hold still. So this conversation that nature is aware of, you are having with your own being, your own awareness, your own higher self, spirit guides, departed loved ones, God, creation, whatever you want to call it. This is happening all the time. And the main reason, the most important reason, the 98.9% reason why many people still are not having that growth of consciousness yet, or not getting their answers reflected back to them in a way that makes sense to them so they can make forward movement, is because they have not learned to quiet their mind. So people meditate, and when people are successful in meditation, they quiet their mind during that time. But meditation is to teach you how to quiet your mind when you're not meditating. Just like taking a yoga class is teaching you to quiet your mind when you're not doing yoga. I want you to start thinking about it that way. When you walk in the forest and you're able to get out of your worrying, anxious, overthinking, analytical process that has nothing to do with reality, by the way. Zero. Most of the things that people think about have never happened or will never happen, or they happened a long time ago and they're gone. So people are analyzing and processing not factual information over and over and over again. And the universe is doing its best to penetrate into your energy. But when people are worrying over things that have never happened or may never happen, there's like a phonetic energy all around them that makes it difficult for that consciousness to penetrate through you, however it wishes to penetrate, however there's an opening. The universe is always looking for an opening within your energy system, a way to get your attention. And it's through the quieting of your mind that attention can be made. my favorite way to quiet my mind is to rest in the lower half of my body. And if I'm worrying about something, because I am human, I do from time to time worry about things, I do my very best to surrender, get out of the way. Just today, before I played pickleball with one of my friends, we also agreed to have brunch together before we played pickleball. And we always give each other a holiday gift right around Christmas. So I had bought her this book. I was going to put a little sticker on part of the title. It was Pickleball for Dummies. I was going to put a sticker on that and put, Pickleball for Amazing People. But I bought us each a copy. We've taken lessons and we still have our own unique way to play. And I can tell that we're getting pretty good. We might need to play doubles in the future because we may not be able to run back and forth on the court because the courts we play on are bigger than pickleball courts. Anyway, I couldn't find the book. I bought this weeks ago. I don't know where it is. I found my copy, but I'd already made notes, and one of my grandchildren had actually drawn on the inside cover of the copy. So I'm looking for this book everywhere, and I'm annoyed, looking in closets. And finally, I had to let go because I needed to wrap the gifts that I did have and get ready because I didn't want to be late for our brunch. So I had to let go, and let go means you surrender. It's going to feel like a failure. That's how you know you've surrendered. So the surrendering was, okay, I'm not giving her that pickleball book today. Maybe her guides don't want her to read a book that has dummy in the title. In the surrendering, you're also looking for or allowing good reasons why you're not finding it right now. Like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. And this just showed me how we humans get so wrapped up in how things are supposed to be. And we have to learn to let go. So I let go. I wrapped the presents that I had. And then I thought, oh, I have a really pretty journal that I've never used, right? Like, ooh. So it's not real. I bought it, it's not really a real re-gifting, but I've never used it. And so I went and found that and wrapped that instead. I never found this book. I didn't find it. If I do, I will give it to her and I will put a different name on it. But as soon as I relaxed and surrendered, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to find the book. I let go of so much anxiety. So a big part of getting out of your brain is you have to let go. You have to let the present moment be what it is. Even if your brain is fighting for it to be something different, you have to quiet your mind. You have to rest in the lower half of your body. Wiggle your toes. Feel your glute muscles. Stomp around the house. Do some dancing. Do that shake off dance to Taylor Swift. That's a really good song, by the way, that can get you really in your body. And then you'll find solutions or get clear about, oh, first of all, my friend is not going to care at all, by the way. She's going to care less what I bring for her. And how fortunate are we to go have a lovely brunch and go play pickleball on a Sunday. What a phenomenal, wonderful thing to do. So this story that I just shared with you, I would hope, I would invite you in 2025 to invite this into your reality, your experience where you become an expert to let go, that you really get out of the way. Okay, one last example. I was meeting my manifesting group and we didn't talk about giving gifts, but I'm sure everybody was going to give a gift. And I just didn't have time to go gift shopping, to order anything. I didn't. And I had a few moments before I went to go to our meeting. Well, oh my gosh, I don't have any gifts. And then I just went, oh, it's fine. My friends won't even care. They didn't. They all had lovely gifts and they didn't care at all. So start to move and to surrender. Get yourself out of that guilty, I'm not good enough, I'm making a mistake, what's wrong with me kind of vibration. That vibration is the complete opposite of the universe's perception of you. The universe only sees you. That means your spirit guides, departed loved ones, God, creation, source, all these defining qualities that we may have about the multisensory world, the energy outside of the physical realm, and the energy that's multisensory that is visiting the physical realm, which is happening often. You are only seen as a divine being of creation, perfect, magnificent, genius, spectacular, one of a kind, individualized, gifted, talented, and deeply and unconditionally loved. So when you go into these moments of, which a lot of people do this all day long, by the way. This is what I have to work on with clients. Almost every client, I'm in constant work mode, helping them to not overthink and analyze and process. Even if they have something challenging going on in their life, they cannot think negatively about it. It's not going to resolve or come to the perfect solution that needs to occur. So maybe this is your wish for you in 2025. It's certainly my wish for you. And the best way to rest in the lower abdominal area to practice is to close your eyes, rotate your eyeballs upward as if you're looking into your eyebrows. Take beautiful deep breaths, 4 to 5 of them. Then visualize or feel or experience a waterfall going from your head down to your toes. Relax the eyeballs, but keep your eyes closed. Wiggle your toes, put your hands on your lap, and imagine or feel or creatively experience them sinking in to your legs. And then ask yourself, what am I really feeling? So that you can align to the real feeling. 98% of the people I talk to are actually truly happy. 98% of the people I talk to are truly happy. 98% of them don't know that they're happy, but they are truly happy. So you want to move into alignment because that's where intuition lives too, in this authentic alignment of your intuition. Okay. So that's our game plan for 2025. I do this exercise all the time, by the way, all day long. When I work, it just naturally happens to me. I don't have to do anything about it. I don't have to feel my glute muscles or wiggle my toes. It just naturally happens. Okay, I'm going to go to the phone lines now and start answering questions.
Hi, Marie. My name's Andrea. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I am an attorney kind of struggling with my next career move, I guess you would say. Specifically, I'm a public defender. Been doing that for the past 3 years. The work is so rewarding, and I know it's so needed. But over the course of the past 3 years, essentially, I think I've just been, it really takes a lot out of me. I absorb what I feel like is such an emotional toll on a daily basis. And I'm kind of at a point where I'm wondering if it's time to, move on and get a new job or new career path or do something different. I'm also struggling with, I feel like God is trying to send me a message about this. I feel like I'm just not able to receive or decipher what that message may be. And so that's kind of what brought me to you. So hoping to get some guidance from you. Really appreciate anything you could offer.
Of course, Andrea. And thank you for all the work you're doing, for being such a aware, conscious, ethical public defender. Thank you so much. I know you've helped a lot of people avoid unnecessary jail time or prison time, or for those who unfortunately did get unnecessary jail or prison time, you help them to leave or have a pathway so that they can move out, through the appellate courts or whatnot. So thank you. I really appreciate it. It's a really hard job. So older souls, which you are one, are very attracted to, and when I say this word, I don't want anyone to think of it as a negative word. It could be a temporary experience that someone's having, but the older souls are attracted to people who are wounded or in a very difficult time in their life, that you're dealing with a wound. And they're attracted to that because they're good at helping that person to heal or change their life or create a positive outcome. That's why they're attracted, because they can be of help, which is nice. Now, the caveat to this is that whatever the older soul wants to do, if they want to be helpful to humanity during the time of a human's need or an animal's need or nature's need, it needs to be something that energetically fulfills them and brings them light. Like I'm continuing to do this podcast because I never know how long I'm going to do things, because I truly do listen to my energy to the best of my ability, because it feeds me. It feeds me. It's such a gorgeous day. There's some light coming in, which it's always nice to do podcasts with real daylight. Lighting is everything when you're on video. So it's really nice, but it feeds me energetically. While I'm doing it, I am fed. So you're not having that experience in the public defender's office. So that means you do need to have a different career path, because we don't want people to get depleted energetically. This is one of the reasons why I recommend to many people a really good source of near infrared and red light therapy. I'm just saying this in general, Andrea. I'm not saying you need this, by the way, because what happens when people get depleted energetically, if they keep doing something that leaks out their energy or doesn't feed them, one of the aspects of their cellular experience starts to get depleted, and that's the mitochondria. So it's this beautiful aspect in our cells that play a big part in our ATP, which is the modern medicine's form of energy. And when mitochondria get depleted, and if people get sick, which often happens, it's really difficult to heal. It's challenging. So near infrared and red light therapy, like platinum therapy, or I think it's called Biomax. Yeah, Biomax is by platinum therapy. There's another one I like. I'll think of it in a moment. That light combination feeds the mitochondria and it feeds the ATP in the body, so people become well. They can recover from all kinds of health issues. And as an energy healer who can't see their clients regularly, I'm so grateful that there's something in the world that my guidance system thinks is extremely helpful. And I have heard so many positive stories from near infrared and red light therapy. Okay. But again, Andrea, you can do platinum therapy if you want to, but I'm not worried about your health. But if you stay in a career path that doesn't feed you, and you're staying because you feel responsible or guilty because maybe there's not another great public defender in your area that's going to have the back of their clients like you do, then it could lead into a depletion of your energy. Now, not everyone gets sick when their energy is depleted. Energy depletion can affect all kinds of different areas of our life, but health is one of them. So you're right. God is knocking on your door, and God wants you to figure this out so that you don't waste time doing something that's not in your best interest. So there's several areas in the world where if a healer moves into that direction, obviously you're going to do an incredible job, but really it's a job that's really better for a younger soul, because younger souls are here to learn compassion. So they're actually great attorneys for this area. They're great social workers. They're great nurses or doctors in difficult areas of the hospital, like oncology or pediatric oncology or things of that nature, because they get fed by learning and being compassionate. Older souls, when they're having to give a lot of energy, when you're having to do something that you don't need to learn anymore, it's exhausting to your energy system. Like if my pickleball player and I just dinked, which is meaning that we just stand close to the net and make the ball go back and forth, and we never progressed into playing singles, that really would not be great for our energy system. We're holding the same pattern. We're not learning something new. We're not getting enough exercise, because when you play singles, you have to run, which is what we both like. We like the running part of it. It makes us both very happy. So you're an old soul. You've already learned the highest intensity of compassion. And I'm not saying that you can't work in a field that requires compassion, but you need to find a different job. It maybe not even a lawyer. We'll see. Although I have a couple ideas where you feel fed. And the only way you're going to know that is if you start to practice a few things. You have to start looking at things that you could do that you would have interest of, that could be fulfilling for you and interesting for you, and see if you feel energized or depleted, right? So this is another reason why it's important for people to be in their bodies, because you can't feel if you're being energized for something or depleted by something if you're not present. If you're thinking about the past, you're not going to know. And I'm not just speaking to you, Andrea, I'm talking to everyone, that you're not going to know if your body's going or, if you're taking in energy or you're depleting your life force. That is the universe communicating to us. When we do things that feed our energy, like as I'm running, it's really a basketball court that's been divided into 4 fields that's close to both of our homes, and it's indoors. We can play year round if we want to, but it's big. Those fields our courts are bigger than typical pickleball courts. So we run a lot. And that's the part that we like because we get good cardio exercise, right? Our body gets to move. We have to reach far and jump. So even though, maybe someone who plays double pickleball may think, oh my gosh, you're running too hard, you're working too hard. It brings me joy. It brings me joy. So that's how I know I'm in alignment. Now, if for some reason it wasn't bringing me joy, then I have to reevaluate. And this is what humans don't do. Reevaluation of your life decisions regularly is normal. And that's why I love Andrea, that you can feel God knocking on your door going, Andrea, you've already learned the highest vibration of compassion. Yes, you do need to learn self-compassion. Sure, you can work in the world where you give to others, but it needs to feed you. And that's what you need to go investigate. So what I would do if I were you, and I do this actually a lot, I ask myself throughout the day, how am I feeling now? How am I feeling now? Is this gauge bringing me happy? Is this bringing me joy? This is bringing me joy. And if I'm in a situation where I can't leave, or I'm kind of stuck where I'm at, like I could be at a dinner party, or I could be on an airplane. I could be in so many places. I actually got on a flight and to come home after Christmas. And as soon as I sat down, the woman next to me started to complain about all kinds of things. And I could feel myself starting to contract, like, oh no, I don't want to be next to a complainer. And I had to stop myself. I had to catch myself, get back in my body, change my vibration. Because if I stay in that frequency of, which is a little victimization, oh my gosh, I don't want to be around someone complaining all flight, then I'm inviting that vibration, I'm inviting that frequency. But instead, I said, Marie, stop. It's okay. You've had a lovely vacation, hanging out with a newborn baby and the rest of your family in North Carolina. You're going home. You're going to have a lovely meal. And I think my partner, who I was sitting next to, realized that I didn't want to hear complaining. And she fell to sleep and slept almost the entire flight. So the only thing that needs to change to make outward things different is our individual selves. We have to change our vibration. We have to change our frequency. So I think, Andrea, too, you're going to have to work on not feeling guilty if you leave this part of law and choose to find something else. I know this may sound weird what I'm about to say, because you like things a little complicated too, which I understand. Like the majority of health issues that I work with are pretty severe and significant, and I actually really like it. So I'm thinking family law. And I'm not saying this is your end all career. I'm not saying that at all. I just want you to get into a place where you're not going to be so depleted. And of course, if you have tons of wealth, then you can take a sabbatical and then really figure out what you want to do. But I think you would like family law. It's complicated, but you only have to work with these people for maybe a year, depending on what state you live in, and then you're done. So that's a good thing. Whereas as a defense attorney, you could be working with people for years who are struggling and having difficult times in the legal system. And I think it would be great for you to hire an accountant to really give your clients a true, because that's the biggest part of divorce a lot of times is the money, is to give them clarity about how much money they have, how it's going to be divided, and this is just the way it is. Here's the accountant's point of view. I don't know. I just think this would be fun for you. So keep your radar out for maybe a position in a family law practice, and maybe only work 4 days a week or 3 instead of the 60 plus hours a week you're working now, and have time to continue to figure out what would make you happy. Obviously, the multisensory world makes you happy, so that is something to look at. Okay. Thank you. That was fun.
My name is Bruce, in Seattle, Washington. I was diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia 6 years ago. I've worked with a naturopath over this time and was able to keep my white blood counts in check through diet, supplements, and intravenous high-dose vitamin C infusions. Recently, my white blood cell counts elevated to the point of needing traditional immune-targeted therapy, which I will start very soon. I'm wondering if you can share with me what my spirit guides or higher self can tell you about my lessons in this diagnosis and how I can best assist my body to repair, heal, and function normally. Thank you so very much, Marie, for the opportunity to ask you about my health and healing. I am greatly looking forward to hearing your answer.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for asking the question. Again, I love complicated or what humans may consider challenging health issues. And I'm very sorry for your diagnosis, and I'm so proud of you, and you must be very proud too, and your naturopath as well, for keeping your blood levels in healthy realms so that you didn't need this targeted therapeutic, which I'm so grateful that oncology has progressed. And instead of giving huge amounts of chemicals, they're targeting it, which is really incredible. I do think in the future, although it's not considered a normal medical procedure or a standard medical procedure in the US yet, but where we send tissues or blood into labs and we try the chemicals that have been created for specific diseases to see if they actually work, because everybody's physiology is unique and different, and modern medicine is one size fits all. That's how it works. But that's why I like the targeted. It's much less aggressive, and it actually works better. People have better effects from it because their immune system isn't bombarded with chemicals. Because we need the immune system to work, right? That's what we need. We need the immune system to work. So congratulations. So leukemia, because it's in the blood, it's about childhood, and you have a major leak, not in the first chakra. I mean, you don't have a vibrant, happy first chakra, and the first chakra governs all the blood in the body. So all the blood, the heart chakra governs the properties. The movement of the blood, excuse me. So this really is a first chakra disease, but you do have a fourth chakra addition to it. So the fourth chakra in the chest and the first chakra in the pelvic floor. And the cone is deep in the pelvic floor, and then it extends out to mid-thigh. And your leak is not in the chakra, it's in the auric field. Now the auric field, the first layer of the auric field, which is where I'm seeing the leak in your energy system, and it's a significant leak. It's very unique. It shows me that you're a unique person. You think differently. You always have. You're very unique. So the first layer of the auric field is a hologram of your anatomy and physiology in complete and total health. So it's really healthy in the hologram. So even if people have a health issue in the hologram, everything's perfect. And right by, even though the hologram, this first layer of the auric field, isn't a stationary field, that the properties inside rotate, there is like a stationary pie cut close to your thigh. So it's very close to your body. On your right-hand side is where this leak is, as if the field has been cut and now we've got this leak of life force. So that's not good, because the first layer of the auric field and its beautiful hologram of complete health is supposed to remind your human real anatomy and physiology how to function. And it can't do that when it has a major leak. This is all about childhood, by the way, all about it. So here's my homework assignment for you. And I'm working on the leak as we're speaking, and actually it is subsiding. It's lovely. And you never have to do anything I say. Nobody does. Everybody gets to do whatever they want. Free will is the strongest law in the universe. I would love for you to create, whether you agree with me that this is about childhood, a different family home. And I see a tree house, like in a jungle somewhere. So not even in the US. And your parents and you live out in nature. You guys are friends with snakes and spiders and sloths and tigers. And it's very, very cool. Almost like, a young Tarzan, but with parents that are not apes. And I'd love for you to just have fun in this house, even as a toddler. It's an expansive tree house. I want you to have fun and feel the collective consciousness of nature. And I want you to feel nurtured and loved by these parents. These parents do not worry. They do not complain. They are happy. They are healthy. There's plenty of food. Everything is always available. So that's your homework assignment. And if the whole, out in the jungle bothers you, just bring it to the suburbs and the woods. It's fine. But it needs to be outdoors and it needs to be surrounded by nature. And your parents give you freedom, but they adore you and cherish you and are constantly sending you positive, loving energy all the time. So that would be your homework assignment, so we can get this leak to subside and not be active in your energy system. Okay? Okay. Thank you. And I will continue to send energy to you as well.
Hi, Marie. I hope that this message finds you well. So here's my question. I work in the mental health field, and I really love this work. I feel so honored to do it. I'm feeling like I want to specialize in working with a certain population, and just wondered if you might have some feedback. Some of the areas that I've considered recently are working with teens, specifically teen girls. Another option I've considered is postpartum anxiety, depression, and then another area is just working with trauma in general. So just wondered if you might have any feedback. I'd appreciate any insights. And thanks again for considering my message. Thanks.
Of course, Jules. And thank you for what you do in the world. I'm happy you're also getting that knock on your door that you need to make some change in the mental health world. What I was seeing as I was listening to you is, and I've seen this before when I speak to therapists or people who work in the mental health profession. It's not the first time I've seen this image. Is I literally see you, but as this, and I don't know what you look like, very toned, athletic person. But you look very masculine to me, so it tells me you have a lot of masculine energy. And you're on a football field. I don't know who's throwing the ball to you. You're like the quarterback, and you're going to catch it, and it's going to be a touchdown. The clients that you're going to work with in the future need to be able to catch the ball and go for a touchdown. I think it would be crucial for you and really important, and will help all of humanity if your specialty is really helping people to manifest. I want you to start using the word manifest and manifesting in your dialogue at work with your clients or your future clients, because it's time to help teach people not only how to, and so the answer to the trauma is no. Again, you never have to do anything I say, but it's time for you to not keep holding people in their space. Like, you can hold them in their space, but then you've got to get them in a different space. Everything's about perception. So I would love it if you really study up and start practicing the art of manifesting, co-creating, creating what we want, especially if you're going to work with young people. I mean, they need those tools, not just females, but males too. Because I think it's good to work with a collective consciousness. I always wish more men were in my practice or in my classes, because I think having a balance of masculine and feminine energy is really healthy. I really do. So that's what I think. I would start reading up on all different types of books regarding manifesting, where you're reading Esther Hicks or many other people who talk about. I love, Randolph Price. I think it's John Randolph Price. He's deceased now, but he wrote a lot of books like Super Beings and other books about finances. He has all kinds of unique tools for manifesting, but there's all kinds of people who've written about creating here in the physical realm and how to do it. And that's what helps people to thrive when they feel empowered, not only healing their emotional wounds, but to be able to create, because those are linked. People don't get to manifest when they don't work on their emotional wounds. And if people only work on their emotional wounds and don't learn to manifest, they don't get to thrive. You can't just always work on emotional wounds. I mean, some people like to think that, but that's not true. You've got to get off the pot eventually and go create. That's why we come here. So those are my thoughts. I hope they're helpful.
Hi, my name is Kathleen, and I'm 35. My mom died when I was 23,
Aw.
and I'm curious if she has anything to tell me or to say to me. I would love to hear that. Thank you so much.
Aww. Your mom's interesting. I saw her actually a little bit earlier, and now she's coming in. It's almost as if, and I know she's been gone a while, like, what is that, 12 years? And I'm so sorry that she left you when you were 23. And I'm so glad you had her for the beginning, childhood part of your life. I'm so grateful. But she runs out as if she's doing really cool, fun things. And then she runs back in. Like, wait a minute, I'm right here. I'm right here. And then she runs back out. Like, I'm right here. I'm right here. She says that you are magnificent and she's learning from you. This does happen. Sometimes when people leave their bodies, they choose to connect to a loved one that's in physical form that can help them learn what they want to learn that they didn't learn in physical form, or they just, like in your mom's case, she didn't have a lot of time. A lot of people really grow in consciousness in their 40s, or they wake up in their late 30s. I don't know how old your mother was when she passed. But obviously at a prime in her life, or what humans think is a prime, that's going to be a moving target as people just live longer and longer and longer. I mean, Jenny Carter just passed away at 100, a remarkable soul, in my opinion. So she's interesting. It's like she's very, very, very busy on the other side, which maybe she wasn't very busy in life. I don't know if she had significant health issues or she couldn't be active, but she's very busy on the other side, and she wants me to share that with you. So she goes off and has a whole bunch of fun with a whole bunch of spirits and flies to different dimensions. Then she goes, I'm right here. And then she literally shows me a notebook and paper where she's watching you, which is very cool. She's going, oh, that's how you do it. Oh, okay. Oops. She's watching you. So she feels like really you were the parent. Now, she may feel that way because she could have been taking notes when you were even quite young. Children can be very surprising. They can add a lot to our awareness. My kids, especially when they were young, taught me so much. They didn't even know they were teaching me. I would take notes all the time as a parent, like, oh, oops. Oh my God. I mean, like, they're so smart. They're so smart. So she loves you. She's now sending all these beautiful hearts, and she's saying, I'm closer than you know. I'm around you often. And thank you so much for teaching me. That's what she says. Yeah, that was a great question, Kathleen. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Andrea, and wanted to ask you a few questions. Okay. One is, I've been sick most all of my life. And I have a feeling that it started from birth. There was my mom said that they had me induced and all the medication went to me, and they didn't let her see me for days.
Yeah, whatever.
And growing up, she was really abusive. I ended up leaving a couple of times and ended up living with my dad when I was 16. Mm-hmm. He was highly neglectful. So I don't know if energetically I'm making myself sick. Just kind of trying to learn the science behind, nutritional science behind what I'm eating and how that can possibly help me.
Sure.
And with the low self-esteem that they kind of left me with, I made poor decisions in relationships and had a daughter. And I didn't want her to suffer the same way I did, so I put her up for adoption. I'm hoping that she doesn't end up like me. That will defeat the purpose of putting her up for adoption, on the lines of being sick anyways. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if you can give me some kind of peace of mind to let me know whether she will be okay.
Yeah.
Her parents, her adoptive parents, seem to be very supportive, but I just need peace of mind because I've watched them make some mistakes with her, and it's caused me a lot of grief. So yeah, if you can answer those questions, let me know if I'm on the right right wavelength with my health, and if my daughter will be okay. Thank you.
Yes. I think she's going to be fine. And you really have to fall in love with yourself, even if, and I'm not predicting this at all, but even if your daughter ended up with some health issues like you, I want you to love yourself exactly the way you are. When we choose our parents, even children who are adopted, choose the people who will raise them. It's not an accident when someone gets adopted or goes into an orphanage or social services. It's not an accident. It's not an oops. It's exactly what the soul planned. Everything that happens, especially in early childhood, was planned on the other side for very good reasons that may not make sense to us in the human form. Our mind might think that's crazy or terrible. So first of all, you've got to get rid of grief. Grief is a low vibration. It's not a real, deep sorrow, types of grief of loss, I guess, is a real emotion, but you tend to stay in the low vibrational frequency of not real emotions. I want you to love yourself exactly the way you are. Every bruise, every low frequency, every health issue that you've had, I want you to fall in love with them. I want you to, please. You need to start unconditionally loving yourself. And parenting isn't the easiest job on the planet. I'm glad that you're happy with the majority of what they do. Sometimes my kids tell me stories now that I honestly don't have a lot of memory of. I remember it when they tell me. I'm like, oh God, I can't believe I did that. Oh my gosh. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. So I think all parents think that. I'm remembering I took my kids to Cancun when my oldest graduated from high school. So this next sister down is 2 years younger. And we were staying in a hotel that had, everything, all the food you needed. You didn't have to go anywhere. Like everything was there. And I let my kids talk me into letting them go to some like restaurant by themselves. And it was actually a bar. I was really naive and unaware. And when I look back at it now, we didn't talk about this one recently, but it came to me. I was like, wow, we're in a foreign country. And I let my two young teenage daughters, they were probably 17 and 15, go by themselves unchaperoned to some restaurant/bar. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. They did come home safe and sound and nothing terrible happened, thank goodness. But parenting is like that. It's weird. And parents are doing the very best they can. So your statement about, that overall they're doing a good job, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, and I understand what you said about your parents bringing this low self-esteem, but we choose our parents before we reincarnate. We choose the personality types and the circumstances that our parental units have in their life before we incarnate. So that means you wanted to work on self-worth, because they triggered that wound inside of you. And so working on self-worth is one of the ways is having a lot of internal dialogue, like, honey, I love you. You're amazing. I adore you. You're incredible. All day long, forever, inside your head, only loving, kind things. And that heals the immune system. Self-love and the immune system are best friends. They're one. And so we have to practice authentically loving and cherishing. And yes, it's work. It takes practice initially until all of a sudden it starts to feel good instead of weird or awkward, which is your main homework. Then our immune system picks up and it starts behaving in incredible and fabulous ways. I do think near-infrared or magnetic therapy would work great for you because people have chronic health issues of exhaustion and tiredness and all of that. This isn't always best for cancer. I'm just saying that to everyone who's listening, only because the research hasn't quite been clear. Is near-infrared or red light therapy going to feed all cells? We don't know yet. So I'm just putting it out there because we just don't know. And intuitively, because I worked in oncology, I'm very protective and I just don't want. So I don't even know intuitively. I have some clients who've had some later stage cancers. I'm like, well, let's do the near-infrared and red light therapy. And it was effective for them. But the research is still out. And my intuition doesn't give me the full story yet. But in your case, Andrea, it could be really, really helpful for you. Okay? So celebrate you. Love the choice that you made for your daughter. She has great parents who are raising her. And let go of the grief. You're doing the very best you can, and everybody is all the time, and that's all you need to be thinking about and cherishing about yourself. You're always doing the very best you can, which is kind of cool, right? It's kind of cool.
Good morning, Marie.
Good morning.
I love your show and I love your class that I just attended.
Oh, thank you.
I have a question today. This is Chris from Maine. I got 2 titanium hips last spring of 2023, and I've had nonstop issues with my skin.
Right.
And now I'm starting to think it's the
I
titanium
don't think so.
metal in my body.
I don't think
And
so.
I was wondering if you can see in my soul if this is true indeed. I bruise, I have skin rashes all over my body. The medical industry will not even admit to anything or acknowledge that there is reactions to this. So I'm kind of going blindly, and I thought I'd call you today with this question. If you can give me anything helpful, I so would appreciate it. I thank you for being out there. Bye.
Thank you, Chris. And I'm grateful you got your hip replacements. Hips are about not moving forward in one's life. So holding yourself back in something that's really, that's Charles yawning, really incredibly important for you. So that's something I want you to look at and analyze and get curious about. Just like in my family, close relatives have lost their appendix, my sister, my brother, my nephew. And so, of course, I started to hang out with my appendix so I could feel what's going on. I couldn't feel it for the longest time. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I know it's connected to the second chakra, so it has to do with joy. And that is something that obviously I work on all the time. But it wasn't until I started kind of working on feeling enough that all of a sudden my appendix started to shake its little tail at me. So I now know that people who get their appendix removed don't feel that they're enough. So there are going to be reasons why your hips had to be replaced besides medical reasons, because emotions are what creates disease, or a lack of anything in our life is some emotional perception or component that we keep our vibration in. I think the titanium is fine, personally. I think it's a good metal. I don't think this is your problem. I think your problem is related to your hormones and other things that are happening in your body. The replacements look healthy. They look good to me. It's typically titanium is a good metal to put in the body. So I would love for you to go have your hormones checked, consider some near infrared and red light therapy, because one of the reasons why it was created, even if you do LED, which is not the same thing as near infrared and that mixture of red light, but LED is really great for the skin. And that's why people use the combination of near infrared and red light therapy, because they're also going to feed their skin, not only for things like eczema or rashes or sun damage. Sun damage can be reversed with proper red light treatments, but it also feeds collagen. And as we chronologically change because of hormone depletion, collagen tends to break down, and then we notice more skin issues because the skin doesn't have the support. So I don't think this is related to the titanium, but you'll know if you go get your hormones checked, and if there's a problem, and you can take hormones bioidentical, made in a compounded pharmacy. That's all I would ever put on my body, quite frankly. And I don't think anyone else should put other things on their body, but everybody gets to do what they want and what's in their best interest. And then consider at least some LED light and try it on one part of your body where there's been a rash and see if it starts to improve. Yeah, hormones. Not only do we have hormones, but then we have all these little hormones that support the bigger hormones. And as we chronologically change, they start to deplete significantly. And that's when people start to get health issues and then get skin issues, and all kinds of crazy things happen to their body. And modern medicine is just beginning to talk about this. Okay, I hope that's really helpful. And thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Please like and subscribe below. I do read all of your comments. I'm a little behind at putting hearts on them for the last couple podcasts because, like all of you, I've been busy with the holidays. Happy New Year. Sitting on my left to you. Bye-bye for now.